Guys know how we like to kick it off. In order to take accountability for what has passed and what will be, there's no time like presently. So, for all of those with mouths and ears, can we have a moment of your time? We want to gain some perspective. Can we have a piece of your mind? What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey,
Good evening.
what's up?
Hey, man, we still up in April, man. I know the time seems like it's moving on fast forward, but we still in April.
Yeah, I really can't account for where this year went, man. It's been a series of things that have occurred that I can remember, but they've been just, you know what I mean, just flying by. Like, wow,
Yeah, man.
it's scary, man. It is scary. Kate and I, we were having this conversation not too long ago, and I was even having this conversation with Aiden, man. Like, you know, when you're a kid, you're kind of in the moment, so everything is moving in a different pace as to when you're more aware of the future as an adult. You know, because when you're an adult, you're thinking about the next meal and the next bill and the next load of laundry and this and that. So you're always kind of fast forwarding yourself to that, and so we lose ourselves, you know, to not being in the moment as often. And I really feel like that's the reason why time does fast forward, man. At least it feels like, because we're just over there where kids are kind of right where their feet are, kind of thing, man. And it, you know, I
Yeah,
wish I could pause it. And
that's actually interesting, bro. You know what? I've been feeling like the world been on fast forward, but I never like even put that like that together, like two and two together. Like in more recent years, I have been having a little more. You know, I've been setting out for more goals and been desiring to do more, and that goes along with not just like traveling and stuff, but like with my boys. Like right now for like these dudes, I got one that's about to get ready to go to his high school prom, Hector.
oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's about to get ready to go to his high school prom, man, and it's I don't know. Right now, life do feel like it's on fast forward, but I just never thought about it the way you were saying, like for real, because maybe that is it. Because maybe it's because I got something I'm striving towards now. That is like futuristic. I'm thinking too. You know what I mean? There's some things I desire for them. There's some things I desire for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Father-son relationship. There's some things I desire for myself, and then I want to see them happen. And it just seemed like turn the page now. Turn the page.
Yep.
Turn the page. Chapter 37. All right.
Woo. You ain't lying, bro.
Chapter 37. Here we are.
What's your take on that, B? Especially since you got a little guy, man. You feel something similar to that? You know, with children kind of making time slow, or?
I mean, it definitely feels like time is kind of flown, right? Because he just turned 4, like
Word
2 weeks ago. And I remember when he was just born, like 2020. It was like everything shut down, and then a couple weeks later, he was born, like during the pandemic. So that was like a whole thing. And, here we are now already, like 4 years blew. It didn't even seem like COVID was 4 years ago. I feel like it just ended.
Yeah.
Or, so it definitely feels like, time has a way of just like breezing sometimes. So I do definitely try to take time to like, savor the moments. I think that might be like, I feel like as I get older, I appreciate like a lot of the smaller things. Like we had some nice weather last week, like 2 days in a row. I took the time to notice that like some of the plants are starting to bloom. Like we had like some trees blossoming, but like they had
flowers
like
popping
leaves,
up out of
like
nowhere.
Cherry blossoms, yeah. And I was like, yo, this is nice. Like I don't have to go to work yet. I can stand out here, like enjoy the sun, enjoy like the new growth, with the plants and everything.
Okay.
When I was a teen, I didn't really care about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But now I look forward to those days where I'm off and I could just go to the park and get some fresh air and be near the ocean. Just little things like that. Like I take in and I enjoy it. And you know, in those moments, it doesn't feel like time's like just flying. So I think a lot of that does have to do with just like the daily grind and you know feeling busy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we have tasks that we know we have to accomplish, things that we put on our list to get done, things that we want to do like on a daily basis, and we're kind of like checking them off the
Yep.
list,
Yep.
and that's occupying a lot of our energy, our minds. So since we're moving at a fast pace, time feels as if it's going fast. When you take time to slow things down and take your time with something and just savor it, it feels less. That's what I'm looking for. It feels less hasty.
Yeah. Yeah, a little less expedited in a sense, man, because you're there enjoying that moment.
Yeah, that definitely connects. That definitely connects with what Hector was saying earlier about how kids are like more into now than we are too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's like stop. Like you're saying, giving that pause to be in the now.
Yep.
Like enjoy this moment. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, man.
That's it. I really feel like that's it, y'all, because you're right, B, y'all. Like when I find myself outside and I'm, like just last Sunday when we were out exploring, we were out there doing a hike and stuff. Yo, those 4 hours felt like an entire day. You know what I'm saying? Like we were out there, we were in there, we were enjoying it, we were talking. It was deep conversation and fun and pictures, and yeah, that 4 or 5 hours felt like an entire day. You know what I'm saying? And it was really cool. Like my body felt like that shit too. But like I find myself going to work and I love my job, but man, it's one of those kinds of things where it's just like I wish it'd go a little bit faster, because sometimes I do keep myself really busy and planned. And sometimes it's not going fast, and then I'll get home for the evening and it zips by because I'm doing dishes and laundry and all this extra. I'm like, what the hell? Like, where's it going, man? So,
yeah. You look at the time like, damn, it's almost time for bed already.
Yep. I know. Oh my gosh.
Like I feel like I just got here. Sometimes I feel like I just got here.
Yeah, it really do feel like that.
Yeah.
Man.
You know what, man? I've actually been thinking about the structure of my week because like the past couple weeks, I mean, it's gotten busy for a lot of us here, and in our mindful group.
Mm-hmm.
Like more recently, like people have been picking up second jobs and stuff like that. So then, like I don't know, man. God, I was thinking about, I was reflecting on the week, and I'm like, yo, getting busy and running through the week, and then having to like take this pause, during the middle of the week on Wednesday. That's actually kind of tough. And I was thinking, like, I would rather like take a day where I'm doing my meetings and it be a home day anyway. So I'm doing like all my admin stuff that day too. Like everything in house. It's not running around and having to shoot back home, man. Cause that junk is tough, man.
Yeah,
That junk is tough. That junk take it out of you.
Yeah, I do.
That's why my day fast forward, cause I'll be going to bed, man. Be ready for the bed.
Yeah. That's our little secret time skip ability, man. We lay down, close your eyes, bro.
Word, it almost feel like that movie Adam Sandler came out with, Click.
Oh yeah, right, with the remote.
That was a good one, man. Hey,
man.
One of my favorite parts in the movie was like he kept wanting to fast forward the transitions in life, right? In certain moments, to get to work, get out of work fast, that kind of thing. Then the remote went out of control, and like during sex, he was already quick. So now with the life on fast forward, like
oh man, it's a little blip. Just done.
What?
Oh jeez.
Adam Sandler, a funny dude, yo.
Yeah, it really is. Oh man.
So I know, guys, man. This is a podcast about accountability and sharing and sharing through growth. So I want to share with you guys, man, something I haven't really gotten a chance to download yet, but um, I'll actually right before coming on the podcast, right, I walk in, my my younger son tell me he want to talk to me. I'm like, what's up? And he shares with me about his experience, his day yesterday, and that he gave marijuana a try. And I mean, I haven't really had a chance to really really process it yet. You know what I mean? I'm not really one for reacting in the moment like that. I try not to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really know how I feel about it, right? Because like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it yet.
Well, I'll start
But
off by saying, bro, that's the fact that you didn't react in that moment, because that's that's a big piece of news to suddenly find out and then not have a reaction for. So the fact that you were able to exercise, because you practice that, and you talk about it a lot. So the fact that you were able to, kind of put it where it matters, that's big, bro, because he's in the other room probably trying to download and figure it out himself. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't know if
Hmm.
you remember, Hector, man, but now that you mention it, but there, I know we talked about him getting into his first vehicular accident on a scooter
Hmm.
here on the podcast, and you know what? In the and maybe it was that moment, but in the moment he called me, he called me and he was behaving as somebody who's been in an accident for the first time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's surprised, he don't know what to do, he never been through any procedures, so he was a little frantic on the phone, and my my energy towards him when he called, it was just that. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, I was excited and scared at the same time to hear from him. But I quickly realized, like, okay, my son's on the phone. He told me he's been in an accident, but my son's on the phone, so he's good.
Mm.
And it was I felt like in the moment it was better for me to react like that because he actually came down and
Yeah.
he was able to hear me like, all right, baby boy, relax. This is what you do. Da 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 da. Where's your scooter? Blah blah. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it really, it helped him out in that moment. And now it's like I really just try to think about that all the time. It's like, yo, what what other people like, what people overreact for sometimes with young people is something that's new to young people. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You understand it because of years of experience, but it's a new experience for them. So sometimes it takes going back to that time. Like it takes going back to me being his age and being around a bunch of friends who may have, hey, you want to try this? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
why would I think about doing it? Why wouldn't I? Like, what was the pressure? Who am I hanging around? What friend is offering it to me? Like, these
Yeah.
are the probably things I would have been thinking when I was younger too. You know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I really haven't had a moment to process it yet, man. I guess
Okay.
this is the process, right?
Yeah. Hey, why not, bro? I mean, Dylan, he was 17.
Yeah,
He
he's 17 now. Yep.
I started when I first did it, man. I was young. I was real young, and I feel like he's already leagues ahead of maturity where I was, because I was I was real young, and when you're young, you're processing puberty, you're processing responsibility, you're processing your personality, discovering who you are, trying to learn where you fit in, with different groups of people around you. Because like when you enter high school or when you're in high school, that's when that becomes apparent that there are really lots of different types of people in this world. Because throughout elementary, you've been with most of these people, and you just kind of observe their growth from a place where you're in the middle of it. But when you enter high school, you're seeing new cliques, new groups. You're being introduced to new genres, if you will, and so you're absorbing a whole lot. So to be doing that closer to his way out of high school as opposed to be going into it, I feel like that is probably the healthiest way he could probably experience that. And I know, from just speaking to you for all these years, Frank, I know that in your home, you guys value an experience. You don't blow shit out of proportion. You kind of take your time to really, really figure out, the essential parts of it all. And then you kind of process, and then you give your response. You don't react, you respond. And I feel like, him having this experience, and then the very next day, him coming to tell you, Frank, that's big, bro. Like, that's huge, because he felt comfortable and confident to speak to his dad on the matter the very next day. When I started smoking, I didn't tell anybody for years. I was terrified. Who can I tell? I don't, like, who am I going to talk to that's not going to react? Because I was so afraid of people reacting and not responding. So it was years for me, man. So for him to feel like he could tell you the very next day, bro, that's a blessing, Frank. Because you guys have established a relationship where you are dad, but you are also a friend. You are also a safe place, because he couldn't have told you. He probably, there are so many scenarios where he was probably thinking, maybe I shouldn't. But he chose the one where he did. That's a sign of respect. And
yeah, you know what? We learn from experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, this is actually not the first time. Like, I guess, like, the first time actually was during COVID. Like, it was during COVID. I can't really say I was on the fence. Like, I wasn't for the shots, but I wasn't with the shots. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely wasn't telling. I wasn't, but I definitely wasn't on the side of telling people like, "Yo, go do it." Like, you know what I mean? It's safer that way. Blah blah blah. Whatever. That just wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely whether I wasn't preaching it to my kids, but I don't know. At some point, Walgreens made it okay to like give 16-year-olds or something like that shots without their parents' consent, and he just one day willy-nilly decided to walk in there and do it, and then he told me like months later, like,
oh man,
and like, but even then, like, he told me months later, but like, what was I supposed to react? Like, it's already, what's done is done. Like, I can't, go get your receipt and bring it back. Like, I can't do that.
right.
What's done is done, man. But it was, to me, it was like, okay, I shared with him my beliefs on the matter, like why I haven't yet. You know what I mean? What's going on? Like, you know what I mean? How, just who I am and why I haven't yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just let him know, like, of the possibilities when you do things like that, right? When you just take, it's like taking a chance, but that's life. Life is chance. You know what I mean?
Chance and choice, man.
Life is choice. Yo, the way they was pushing the narrative is like, yo, if you don't take this shot,
you gonna
you
die.
and everybody who haven't taken the shot, y'all all dead. Okay, you're dead. Okay, there's people dying all over the street. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I just shared it with him, like, yo, there's two sides to a coin. Like, this is a new thing. Nobody knows nothing about this stuff. You know what I mean? And me, I ain't gonna lie, man. Me going off my experience with infomercials late at night about pills you could take to help one thing, but then it's gonna cause a side effect to another. That they say in real fast words, okay? Stuff like that stick out of my head. I'm like, all right, well, when something new comes out, it usually takes freaking 20 years or so before cancer develops or whatever.
Oof.
Like, right?
Mm,
So I
Well,
don't know. That
yeah,
was just my belief on it, right?
like side effects may include death. Well,
right.
Well,
like so, I
Man.
here,
could
take this pill. It may include death, but you was gonna die anyway, right?
yeah, like
So,
it could kill you,
Whew.
but like okay,
Oh man.
what's the
Yeah.
percentage? Like how many people die taking this? I'm saying?
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
but
work.
from what I heard, when my nephew was talking, it didn't seem like a decision that he made lightly. He did, take into consideration like who offered it to him and things like that. So it was someone that he knows, someone that he trusts. He asked questions. He was like, "Oh, where'd you get it from? How do
Mm.
you know it's not laced? Things like that." So, he did think with some precaution. So it wasn't something that he just, jumped into it. It didn't sound like he felt pressured into doing it either. So, that's something I'm glad about because, that's one thing. Like I personally don't partake, right? But I do have friends who do, and they never made it feel like they needed me to do it with them, you know.
Mhm.
So I mean, I did try it. Yeah, I think I actually did try it on 420 also, but I was already like 21 years old, because I told them when I was hanging out one day, I was like, you know what, next time 420 rolls around, I'll do it with you guys. Why not? So like, 420 came around and I kept my word. It was an experience. For me, I could take it or leave it. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
for me, I could take it or leave it. But I know some people they enjoy it. Just like it's one of those pick your poison type things. Some people love to drink. Some people love to smoke. Some people do other things. But
Man,
so long as he continues to take that line of thinking, that gives me some, it gives me some comfort. Like he doesn't just do something like on a whim. Like he does take into consideration how it could affect him, or So I was glad to
yeah,
hear that.
I was wondering what Uncle was thinking, man. I know Brian caught some of it. um, yeah, you know what, man? I guess these are all things I feel like these are definitely like lines to kind of connect, like
Pick a tingle.
lines from different perspectives that I could kind of make me come to an understanding with my feelings, I guess you could say, on the matter, because all those things do matter. You know what I mean? All those things do matter. Like it didn't take him long. Like he did just come to talk to me. You know what I mean? He did think about it. He has waited. I I'm I smoke regularly on and off now, but I haven't started until I was 30. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
literally, like I haven't had my first try until I was 30 years old. And it's not to say I haven't thought about it in my team. It's not to say like I definitely did a lot of observing. That's for
Mhm.
sure. Like that was one of the things I did. I seen people my age doing it, and I seen adults doing it. You know what I'm saying? I seen people that seem to be unproductive when high, and then I've seen people that seem to be productively high. like you know what I mean? Like so. I mean, I guess over the years I kind of drew my own conclusions on it and decided to try. But I mean, I guess the fact that he did like put thought into it, it's not like he's you know maybe I played an influence on it. Then right, he seen me doing it before. I can't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I actually do feel like I'm somebody my son look up to. So um, damn, I could have played a part of that, man.
Hey. And it is and was the best case scenario. Like
Huh?
it ended up being one of the better case scenarios, because that could have went bad. It could have been laced. It could have, could have been all sorts of bad associated with that. But he's right in the other room, safe, there, present, aware,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
forthcoming
talking
with
to
it.
me.
So yeah,
Yeah,
best case scenario out of that did occur, man. And that's all
yeah,
we as parents. That's all we could really hope for, bro. Because
yeah.
no matter how much, like Kate and I were having this conversation. Like if you constantly show fear and you're constantly telling them no and no, at some point they're gonna rebel and they're gonna be a little bit more alluded toward this thing. They're gonna want it a little more because they've been told no, no, no all this time.
Yeah, we want what we can't have, kind of thing.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
something that's in us by
Exactly.
nature.
And so, him seeing it around, people
Some of
that
us more than others.
for sure. Him seeing it around someone, like you, he looks up to maybe and he trusts and he sees is responsible with it. A lot of that probably did kind of, let me think about this before I just jump into this. And I we were all teenagers, man. I can remember a lot of different factors that things I probably shouldn't have done, things that I'm glad I did, all for sake of experience. I can remember kind of analyzing it, beforehand and after, um, and a lot of it was like in this fear-based sense, man. Like I like don't do this and don't do that because of this and because of that. But like you were saying earlier, you kind of drew your own conclusions and you just kind of came to it. We all do that, some more than others. Um, and it sounds like he's good. It sounds like he's got the right frame of mind. I mean, this kid works. He got his own vehicle. He's very responsible. Um, he's talking to you as freely as possible. And he's giving himself experiences, man. And that's all we could hope for, bro. Because when you get older, once he gets to our ages, could you imagine someone our age with no experience? Where
Nah.
would you be? You wouldn't know what to do, man. You'd be living at home with mom and dad your whole life, kind of shit. But
Yeah,
he's gonna be our age, and he's gonna be way ahead of the three of us. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be way further advanced. Um, and that's just my
yeah,
personal take on it, yo. I think you did a good job responding and not reacting. And with this conversation, bro, yeah, man, you're gonna go into it a little bit more prepared, Frank, and just talk to your baby boy, man. Just talk to him and just let him talk. You know what I'm saying? Let him share
yeah,
what he thought, and yeah, just be open to it, man. I feel like that's a cool thing, man. Because like, yo, if my son ever participated, I would want to know right away too. And so
yeah,
that's a blessing, bro.
yeah,
Man, I
yeah,
think I think fear was a deterrent for me, like why I didn't do it for like the longest. Because when we were kids, they had like the Dare program, and they used to have all these ads, like the commercials, like like the one with the frying pan. It's like, oh, this is your
hey.
brain. This is your brain on drugs. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably the most famous one, bro.
Yeah.
bro. Like
Probably the most
that
famous
stuff
one, most
used to
iconic.
stick, and
Mm.
they used to refer to it as a gateway drug. I remember seeing like a
Yep.
movie, a show or something where like one of the main characters end up taking something in it, and he ended up getting like hooked on. I think he started taking like crack or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't want to become no crackhead in the future.
Yeah. No.
So yeah. So fear was definitely a motivator for me. I was like, I don't know, like I don't want to end up on the street.
Nah, man. No way.
Yeah, bro. You know what? And when I reflect on it, bro, in a lot of ways, like in high school, I was definitely more of an observer than a participator, yo.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
used to observe all the time, like because I had friends that used to do all different types of stuff, and fortunately for me, like they weren't like the peer pressure type of friends. Like they were like, "Oh, you cool?
yeah,
You don't want to do it? You sure? All right, no problem." And they just let me be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not right now, Dylan.
like I don't know, man. Like I definitely had a lot of fear going into it. But I think the thing that was kind of the heaviest reason why I did participate was because it was with someone I trusted. And that allowed me to feel like, okay, this thing is not as scary as they say it is, because this person I know and trust says that it's okay, that it'll be fine. So I trusted in it, and that first time experience, unfortunately, was a good experience, and because of it, I continued to do it. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized, like, this thing does not benefit me at all. And so now I'm kind of on the other side of the fence, like, yeah, don't bring it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't know any, because to me the thing is like, for its medicinal purposes, sure, it's medicine to some, but if you're not sick, you don't need medicine. That's how I kind of think about it now. Medicine now as an adult is being aware, is being mindful, is operating through kindness, like being conscious, man, and just being a pleasant you, your best self. That's the medicine that I'm on, and I know that that's working for me. And so all that extra stuff to me is just like, now, as the adult I am now, like, yeah, I don't need any of that. I don't need to drink. I don't need to smoke. That shit doesn't equate to fun. I don't need stuff to have fun. I can literally, you give me a pen and a notebook, man. Like, I got dozens of them laying all around me, and I am the happiest I can be. I can be productive in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as a kid, though, I wasn't kind of in that sense. Like, I was just figuring shit out. I didn't know what I liked. I was learning. And so
Yeah.
for Dylan to, have done that, got the experience, now you can kind of focus the conversation. What did you feel? Do you feel like you need that more? Do you want that more?
Yeah, so I got to get into that a little bit with him.
Okay.
Got to get into that a little bit with him. I figure, I ended up telling him, like, yo, you know what? I need a moment to, like, really process. You know what I mean? So I wanted him to, I think he was looking for a response, but I wanted him to know why I wasn't responding. Process. You know what I mean? I got to ask a few questions, but we had to come shoot.
Yeah.
But yo, you know what? I remember being pretty much. I was an observer. Like, I participated, like, fashion wise, right? I wore the Timbs. I wore the Nikes. Like, I wore the fitteds. Like, I participated in that way. Like, I participated in being able to conversate with my peers. Like, and I feel like I used to be able to, like, kind of jump in and out of, like, different circles, man. Like, for real. Like, I used to be able to go hang with, like, the nerdiest of them. And we used to be able to talk video games until, a certain point. And they start pulling out Pokemon cards. And then I used to hang with the cool dudes, the coolest of them. And it used to be cool until we moved from talking about, I don't know, girls to who's smoking who out tonight. Like, you know what I mean? And I used to just observe. Like, I used to just, like, stuff like that, where I used to, like, it used to put me on pause. I would stop and I would observe. I'll just watch what they're doing, how they're behaving, like, how what other people are doing, how they're behaving. Like, I don't know. That was always me. Like, I like observing, but it be taking a while to download. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
A little longer than I be wanting it to.
No, I'm of the same mindset. I've always observed, and there were a few places, like, you just said, like, with participation with, like, the fashion. I love Tim's, and I still wear them to this day. That was my biggest participation in the fashion thing. And then, I did smoke, and then I didn't, and then as far as drinking, I gave that a little, like, a very small attempt, and that was usually with my parents, like somewhere safe. And then I just realized, like, I don't like this shit either, and it's, a lot of it came down to, I ain't got the money for this shit, man. So I can't be out here doing all this wild shit. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I learned very quickly, like, I need to financially support the future I want. And those things were not it. And that's where that shift. That's when I kind of feel like I woke up. And so, yeah, man, it's kind of always been an observation type, though. I watch body language. I watch what people do. I learn from their mistakes, kind of shit. I feel like all three of us here, we have all operated in that sense, man. And I still do to this day, man. I will selectively reach out into the internet and grab a piece of information, and I'll go to Reddit and read on a topic that I'm experiencing and pull, from dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of comments, and kind of pull my own little information bit, like to see how I can apply it to a situation that's pretty relative to. That's how I operate, man. I like finding others that have had an experience like me and then seeing how they made it through it. And I use a lot of that to kind of help, judge my decision making going forward. And then on the experiences where I can't, I operate through trying to be my best self. And so,
since we all up in this conversation about marijuana, right, and experiences, right? I kind of could reflect on like my experiences pretty clearly, since I only started when I was in my 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, okay, so some things you don't learn until you experience it. Like you have to experience it to like really know, right? So there was one I used to always hear in some circles. Like again, I ain't started smoking till I was 30, but I knew a bunch of smokers, right? And so one of the things I used to always hear when they would talk is like, yo, yeah, man, I'll be needing like 2 blunts to feel something. Like I don't feel nothing unless you know what I mean? And I used to always be curious about that, like 2 blunts. Hector just made me have this thought because he said it's expensive. Because I like these dudes be talking about 2 blunts, right? And now even now being like smoking how I smoke every now and then, like even now it's like I couldn't imagine like smoking that much, like at all. So it was something I learned when I came to. Like I feel like now actually experiencing it, I feel like people that smoke that much, like they want to smoke that much. It's like you're smoking that much because you're chasing a high now. You know what I mean? Of course, when you smoke, your body gets accustomed to it after a while to that high. And I mean, for me, that's when I like to take my breaks. I don't like chasing nothing. I'm a lazy dude, yo. I don't like chasing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But when you chase, like, that was a myth that kind of got debunked for me only after experiencing it though. Like, you know what I mean? It's like only after like seeing for myself, like, yo, you don't need that many to feel anything. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need that much for real. But like, I don't know. I just wanted to share that, like, just how just debunking a myth through experience, because some things you just don't know until you really try it for yourself. You know what I mean? Like even the example of it being an addictive drug, right? When you said you was young and you feared it, you thought trying it one time you're gonna be stuck, right? Like, I'm gonna be I'm gonna hit it one time. I'm gonna be a crackhead on the
by
street
tomorrow. Yeah.
That's the way they used to like present it. Like, oh, you're gonna start chasing the even stronger highs. Like, oh, next thing you know, you're gonna be shooting dope. Like, so
talking about using fear to rule, man.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want something that's gonna have me like stealing from my own mom. Like,
ooh,
it's like, oh, good. Like, those people.
And you know what?
Heck, man, I think in the spirit of today's conversation, man, we should probably try to pop something in Mid-Journey about, like, I don't know, man.
So
I don't know, man.
So I caught a little something, man. I put in a little something in there, and it's it's up for perception, man. But yeah, I think I'm ready, man. It's a little on, a little off topic with it, but
yeah,
oh yeah.
All right, so let's do this, man. From minds to matter, man. From minds to matter. From our heads to your eyes. No need to visualize. Mid-Journey will share with you exactly what's on our mind. And with that, it's time for Mind to Matter. Hector, take it away, bro.
Yes, sir. So the whole pirate message in a bottle, right? Sales overseas goes far, but then, we grew up, like always playing video games, and like video games, when you get experiences in a bottle, right? And as I've learned, like at being an adult, an experience can be anything. It could be traveling somewhere new. It could be trying something new. And so for this particular one, man, I thought, why not put an experience in a bottle? And an experience in this case is, some destination off in some beautiful place, man, and it's right there. It's captured. And kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, being where we are as kids, we create a lot of memories and we hold on to it. We bring that with us. That's our way of bringing the past to the present. Because we captured that moment and we still hold on to it dearly. So I figured putting an experience, in a sense, in a bottle was kind of really relative to the conversation here, because all three of us have experienced, driving and children and marijuana and all sorts of different things. And so, this is my experience in a bottle right here, y'all.
Man, I like.
So,
What you call that? Conceptual art? What is that?
yeah, in a sense,
yeah, you could say, yeah.
Yep, just concept art for short. Yeah, conceptualizing, just creating an idea and just going with it. So,
Okay.
yeah,
And it's kind of like almost pulling the story, like how you just pieced it, how you just weaved it together. It's almost like seeing that picture,
yep.
like almost visualizing like it happening like that. Like this is an experience in a bottle.
Yep.
It's just
So yeah,
okay.
I went in with an idea, and then again, knowing how to use this tool, I was able to get it to harness what I was thinking, and then it created an image, and I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's where we ended up coming at.
Oh, he's upstairs.
So,
No, I'm kidding.
So yeah, man. I had another one too, man. I had a whole another one that I was gonna show too, but I felt like that one is a little bit more appropriate. But and this one I'll share it anyway. I'll show y'all what it was, because I felt like this one was kind of more in the sense that with experiences, like you live, you die, and that's just what it is. So my brain had immediately gone to the idea of an EKG, you know what I'm saying? And kind of having, life's up and downs, kind of show, with the heartbeat, on the EKG. So that was just another example I felt like I wanted to kind of show, for being here, man, for being in the present, for living.
That's pretty dope. I like that one.
Yeah, this one feels cool, man. It's got like a graffiti vibe to it, but it's also got like this neon light kind of city life thing. Like, it's weird, man, but I love it. I love the way this one turned out.
Yeah, it does have like kind of like a graffiti / like a neon type feel to it. Like no, it's like your pulse, like, but
yeah,
it gives it more of an electrical feel because of the color and everything too.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's dope.
Yeah, it was cool too, because like like a lot of the inspiration from this, Kate and I, we've had, my lady and I, we've had therapy, over the years, and one of her therapists had shared with her that life is all ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? It's the highs and the lows. And we often try to seek the middle. We try to coast through the middle. That's where it's the comfiest. There's no dips in your mindset. There's no peaks where you feel like you got to chase a high or something. We like living in that middle. And so, like, when I heard that conversation, I'm like, damn, like, that's really what an EKG is. It's just a bunch of ups and downs. And so, it's funny because, like, the EKG is what measure, that's the tool to measure your heart rate, your heartbeat, and everything. So it's just
that is pretty cool. Yeah, because
it's a
like
really cool
you figure
mix.
like when your body is in like a state of like distress, that's when there's a lot of peaks and valleys.
Yeah. Yep,
But when
exactly.
when you're stable, then it's more, it's more like a wavy.
Yeah,
It's not very sharp spikes up and down.
right.
So yeah, that
Exactly.
is a really that is a really cool analogy. I like that.
Yeah, so yeah, when I was thinking of that too, I was just like, damn, it's wild how like, Frankie was just saying something about conceptualized art. Like, yeah, that's really what it is, man. You take something and you mix it with something. You make these two things connect, and then you just kind of mix and mash and present it in a way where it does make sense. You give that storytelling element. So like anybody could look at this and be like, oh yeah, that's an EKG, but then without the story we just gave them, or rather with the story we just gave them, it becomes this whole other thing. This whole psychological profile. This emotional up and down roller coaster kind of thing. So it's just really cool how that shit can connect if you allow it to, if you open your mind up enough to do that. So,
Hey, y'all want to know the dopest thing about recording a podcast with you guys, man, and you sharing that story, Hector?
that's gonna be
Even
brand
though I
new when
stepped
you
out,
watch it.
yeah. Even though I stepped out, when I come back, I'll catch on to what y'all was talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all
Wait
couldn't
till
leave me out this conversation if y'all wanted to.
you do the playback and watch it, bro. I think you'll like that a little bit, man. It's fun, man. I was just telling B, it was just another conversation Kate and I were having about it. So I'm gonna leave that one for you for when you watch it, bro, because it'll be fun. It'll be cool seeing that brand new.
All right, okay, I'm with it.
But
All right, so what we got, Heck, man? We gonna spin that wheel, man, because we got
let's
like
do it,
15
bro.
minutes left, man.
I feel like we're getting there. Yo, I want to clear out this wheel and add some new things to it, man. So I'm definitely down to do that.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. No such thing as a
Yes,
stupid
sir,
question.
man. No such thing as a stupid question. No such. Now, I listen. I'm excited. This don't. I picked this one up on the wheel. I don't remember what the thought was about exactly, but let's get into it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Let's get into it, man. Let's chop this up, man. Is there a such thing as a stupid question, man? Because I remember, I remember the thought coming up. The thought coming up because, like, so being a father in a blended family now, man. I have a daughter, man. I've been blessed with a daughter now, right?
Yep.
And oh my goodness, she's so bright, yo. She's a bright star, bro. She's multilingual. I mean, she knows a little bit of Spanish because she goes to a school that teaches Spanish. It's heavy on teaching Spanish or whatever. So
Okay.
um and she does well there, and she's just like a little gymnast, a little gym star, you know what I mean? And she's really smart. Like she know how to say something witty to you in the middle of a conversation.
Mm.
But she likes to get into this habit of just asking her mom questions, just asking her questions, right? And I remember one day we were walking into her grandmother's house, and her grandmother parks in the same place every time when she's at the house. She waited till her mom opened the door, get in the door. She said, "Where's grandma at? Is grandma here? Grandma's not here." And I guess my lady's head probably be like, on what she needs to do next.
Mm.
So she just be kind of answering the question. I like to make these kids think for themselves, okay?
Yeah.
You're not about to bombard me with questions like this when you could the answer right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
right.
it made me think like, yo, I ain't want to, I ain't gonna tell the baby, that's a really stupid question. That's a stupid question, little girl, okay?
Mm.
But I did tell her like, hey, hold on. Rewind. Let's rewind. Let's go back outside real quick. Okay, let's look out the window. Okay, these are questions we can answer ourselves. You know what I mean? That's where the thought came from. But I do recall, in school they used to always, and I feel like maybe in school it was maybe, and it was for us, our generation. But in school they used to encourage like, yo, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You know, feel free to like ask any questions. I was wondering where it came from and why. You know what I mean? Why?
Mm.
Because to me, in my opinion, I think there is a such thing as a stupid question.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't be liking them neither.
Now, I agree. Yeah, there are some stupid questions, and that usually comes from the sense of when someone's not willing to, like, kind of like you were saying, someone's not willing to do the work to find out. Because when someone asks me a question, I usually kind of think it as one of two things: either they're looking for reassurance, or they're genuinely looking for understanding. And so, I try to answer as many questions as I can, even if I've answered it before. But if I've answered it before, my answer starts to get a little bit more directed towards, well, what do you think? Or, how did, what made you think of this question? I start to kind of push it back in there, what got you here? Go figure it out kind of shit. And I like that because, for kids, especially kids, they ask a lot of questions out of both, for reassurance and for the sake of just curiosity, just looking for some understanding. And so, yeah, don't tell a kid that was a stupid question, because then you'll probably halt them from asking questions. And then that's when stupidity really happens, when you think you know the answers,
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
delicate one, bro. That's a real fun, real fun topic, man, because like if it's in a 40-year-old person that's asking me, how do you pump gas? I'd be like, what? How do you do what? Like, did you really just ask me that? But if it's a little kid asking me a question how to pump gas, I'd be happy to show him and teach him. And so, I don't know, man. It just, it really depends on where and who and what the question's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, stupid questions exist for sure. But, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I feel like for it's almost like what you were just saying, Hector, with like children. It's a lot easier to tolerate a question that sounds silly than from like an adult person, right? Like, with kids, you kind of almost expect them to ask something that sounds kind of dumb, right?
Right.
Because they're still trying to get the logic behind a lot of different things,
Mm-hmm.
and so for if I'm listening to a child ask a question, I try my best to answer it, however I can, and I try to explain it in a way that they can understand, because it's likely that they won't explain it unless you put it like in layman's terms.
Mm-hmm.
So with kids, no problem. But sometimes adults ask questions that they either should know the answer to or they do know the answer to, and they just I guess they have like a brain fart or something like that. Because I've even caught myself asking a question that I should know the answer to, and I'm like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah,
word.
I've been there.
How to spell a simple word? How do you spell was again? Oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
Never mind. I got it.
No.
Yeah, but like,
so I have a question now though. Now, do you guys know anybody our age, older, that like it seems like they just ask almost rhetorical questions, like just like I don't know, like they just it's like they ask it out of habit or something. You know what I mean? Like they just act like it's just so. What I fear, right? What I fear is like, and I agree with everything Hector said, and you guys said, right? But what I fear is if there's because if you see like I see a pattern of a question that could be answered by simply looking around, but it's still being asked, right? I see that could be like developed as a pattern, especially if my lady's never like, hey, like girl, turn around, it's like go look in the car, like you know what I'm saying. So what I would fear is my my daughter now turning into this person that's just like, yo, you could get, you know how to be good at business is when you know how to ask the right question. You know what I'm saying? if you want to be good at business, is by asking the right question. You want to deliver a message, is about saying it really concisely.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know why I talk so much, man. I'll be wanting people to feel me, man, but I just can't help it. I like talking. But if I could say things more concisely, then you're more effective. You get what I'm saying? So I just fear like, yo, if you don't like, and again, I handled it the way you said, the way you said, Hector. I didn't like, yo, that's a stupid question. Although we grew up with that, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
grew up with a lot of that. There used to be no stupid
Right.
ass question.
Oh man.
Bro,
Oh
you know,
man.
they'll definitely tell you to go somewhere. Like, boy, you don't get out of here with those stupid ass questions.
No, I definitely handled it the way you said, Hank, man. I mean, you know what? They used to kick us out, like Brian said, man, but it wasn't
Yeah,
so.
for
It
real.
wasn't.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It was that.
you would get kicked out the room though, for real.
You know, if you're not too sensitive, right? It's still a learning lesson, right? When somebody sends you off, like, yo, get out of here with that means come back with a better question.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So now the way I see it, because kids are adaptive. So even if I'm just blunt like that, like, yo, don't ask me those stupid questions. Get out of here. If the kid wants to talk to me and he got something to say to me, they're gonna wait, they're gonna be like, yo, all right, hold on. I
Yeah,
gotta think
you
about what I'm gonna
process
say
it
before I
like.
talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think about what I'm gonna say before I talk to Frank, because he be showing
Yeah.
me off, all right? Like,
That's a good thing, bro. I agree.
Yeah,
In
that's
a
true.
lot of cases, that's an empowering, because yeah, you're teaching them to figure shit out. Because yo, let's say you're in the middle of the desert, right? And you ran out of gas, and well, shit, what do I do now? Well, you can ask yourself that shit 100 times. What do you do now? Until you figure it out. Until you figure out what the hell you're going to start doing. You know what I'm saying? So
the
a lot of that being sent out of the room is, yeah, go rethink what the hell you just asked me. Go figure that out on your own. And that's the tough part now, is that, you know, the kids are so easily influenced, man. They got lots of influences nowadays with the fucking tablets and YouTube and all sorts of shit. So, you know,
yeah.
asking a question could be simple and innocent and cute, you know, like, you know, my daughter, I love her, man. And all the time she's always asking, what do you think? How do I look? How do I look? And I've gotten tired of answering that question, man. I'm like, I'm tired of answering this shit. What do you think? How do you think you look? What do you like about your outfit? And I'll let her process that and start really contemplating, okay, I like the colors. I think I did a good job matching the colors. And then I'll be like, yeah, I think you did pretty good there too. You know, because she's looking to being acknowledged, for someone to be like, look at me. But I'm not giving her that look at me. No, I'm giving her, what do you think? You analyze that. You answer that for yourself. So you don't have to go ask other people what they think. Because truthfully, sometimes fuck what other people think. You know what I'm saying? You got to really kind of care and love about your part of it all. And then you can go look for the reassurance or whatnot from places you trust. But when you start operating in that sense all the time, like, yeah, man, you're going to start
Yo,
asking a bunch of stupid ass
That's a great
questions.
point. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, because it teaches her not to seek validation from other people.
Exactly.
And it's so crazy because it's little things like that. As a parent, is capturing little things like that, right? And this is where we use our experience as our, like, I don't know, as the driver, right? It's because we could forward think and we could backward think, because we was there where they were, and we, you know, again, like through the power of observation, Brian, right? You seen us. We had an uncle that was on crack. So
Yeah.
we seen what it do to people firsthand. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to actually take it, like we seen it. Okay, like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly. You're like, okay, yeah, I don't want to end up like this guy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it could easily become a scary thought like that. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It,
especially because it happened to someone in the family. Like, well, if it affected a family member like this, like,
Right.
what's the likelihood that the same thing could happen to me?
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. That's true. It's real close to home kind of shit. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man.
I
So
forget where I was just driving with that conversation just now, man.
literally driving that forward, backward thinking, through experience is what you were saying.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we have that power. You know what I mean? And if we could verbalize it right, we could give it to the kids. You know what I'm saying? We have that
Yeah.
power, the forward thinking and the backwards thinking. We know how to, if like we could put ourselves right in their shoes. Like, how did we feel when this moment happened to us for the first time? You know what I mean? What did we? I guess the real good question to ask then after that is like, what did we wish we knew back then? You get what I'm saying? And then that's what you give to the child. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all right, this is what happened to me, but you know what I mean? You here, let's do it this way. Let's ask this question for you. You know what I mean? This ain't just a commercial. I lived this once upon a time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think
Oh, that's
one thing that's good is to to be willing to admit that you don't know something, right? Like if a child or a peer, anybody, if someone like asks you, be like, you know what, I don't know. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Like and something like that happened to me recently. It was something small, like someone left like their dog poop like lying on the ground somewhere because there's a law, you're supposed to pick up after your dog. People pick up after the dog, right? And it could affect the grass. And I was asked like, why do you think that's a problem? Like, wouldn't it just like wouldn't it like
Decompose?
fertilize? Yeah, wouldn't it
Yeah.
fertilize the grass? I was like, no, I don't think dog poop fertilizes grass. I think it actually does damage to grass. And they're like, yeah, but like, farmers use like cow manure and stuff like that. I was like, well, I think the reason why cow manure fertilizes grass is based on their diet, right? Cows eat grass. So after it passes and it hits the ground, all the nutrients that was in the grass that they ate is getting returned to the grass that's on the ground. Whereas dogs, they don't eat grass. They have a protein rich diet. So, what they're eating is more acidic. It's gonna burn the grass essentially, or eat through the grass. And I was kind of guessing, but I was given my thought process on it. So I was like, I think that's the reason, but let me look it up real quick. So like, I Googled it, and sure enough, like it all comes down to the diet. I was like, hey Google, why does dog poop damage grass? And then it pulled up an article. So like that's one thing I'm real thankful for, like having a smartphone, because anytime I have some kind of question, I could always just go ahead and ask Google.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
We got
I do
we
that
got
like
this
a
saying.
few times
Yo,
a day.
you know what, man? And stopping to like you taking the time to like really go through that with a kid, like you gave that kid some of your time, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
And the power,
you
that processing power to think and see where that shit goes, man. That's important.
Yeah, and the kid got to see you through in that process. Like, yo, you
Mhm.
took time, you got to see how you worked out a problem. You get
Yep.
what I'm saying? That's what you kind of want to teach your kids. You know what I mean? Like Hector was saying, like, yo, I don't want to give you the validation. I want you to find it for yourself.
Mhm.
And then from there, she would like, if she really wanted validation, like after she found it for herself, if she really wanted validation, then it would be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna figure out how to get his attention without saying, hey, look at me. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And when you know yourself, when you know the person that you're trying to get their attention, yo, somebody want my attention, all they gotta be like, yo, Frank, blah blah blah, Starbucks, huh? Like, like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like what? So it's a beautiful thing, man. I like that move, Heck, man. I like
Yeah.
that move, and that's forward thinking. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
you can foresee the problems because we've seen the problems that happen in society with people looking for validation. You can foresee that. I mean, it's an innocent thing. It's a little girl asking, her father, "Hey, what you think about how I look?" And and that's okay sometimes. But you also know. Let me not overdo it because the world ain't as sweet as me. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? You know what I mean? This ain't you. I mean, you gonna get sweet dad, but you ain't gonna get this from everybody else. You know what I
No,
mean? So
exactly.
I need you to be prepared because you need to like yourself. You need to love yourself, even through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I put my locks back up here. Hey, you know what I mean? Like now I'm some girls type. Now I'm not some girl type. Now I cut my locks off. Now I'm, the girls that I was they type, I ain't they type no more. Now I'm another girls type. It's just like that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You ain't gonna win them all.
No, exactly. Right, but what matters at the end of the day is how you feel about that shit, man. And that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's what I'm
at the end
saying.
of
Going
the
kind of
day.
bringing it full circle, going back to what we first, kind of spoke about with Dylan and his experience, man. What matters is not how we feel about it, because we all have our own perspective, but we will never be in his shoes. We will never live the life he's getting ready to experience. And so
He is
through that
experienced.
experience, right, like he's going to learn whether he, hey, I kind of liked it, or you know what? I don't think that's for me right now. I don't want to do that again. And he had to experience that in order to know that, again, like you were saying, that forward and backward thinking, bro. And so this is just one of those kind of a new gear, if you will. This is him popping it into a new gear and just kind of going a little bit quicker. We don't like it at the age and all that, but it's an experience nonetheless, and something he can look back on. And he's got you guys right there next to him, bro, right there in the other room. Like, just if he needs something, yeah, I feel like he's comfortable enough to come ask y'all. And that's all you can ask as a parent, man. Like, you got something to talk about, baby boy, come talk to me. And that's it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think all is well, man. Like, kids learning, man. They learn at their own pace,
that,
man.
I appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, bro. Y'all doing good, man. Y'all doing good in that home. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm definitely looking forward to next week's episode to see what comes of this conversation, man. Because I imagine it's coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's what's up, though, Frank. That's what's up.
You want to go ahead and close this up, Heck, man?
Yeah, man, we did it already, bro. Over an hour, fellas. It was dope. And yeah, anybody out there, man, your experiences with, like your kids and your own experience with learning shit or doing stuff, whatever. Oh, let us know. Throw it up on the Spotify, throw it up on the YouTube, wherever you get your streaming services through, let us know, man. Come talk to us about that. It'd be a real cool
Let's
one to
create
see.
conversation, man. Let's talk, man. We want to
Absolutely.
grow. We want to grow through perspective. We want, you know what I mean? And we'll become we're your podcast accountability partners.
That's it.
For each other and for you.
That's
so
it.
Let's do it, man.
So with
let's
that
engage.
said, for all y'all that came through and let us borrow some time, we'll see you next week on PC of Mind.
Mine.
Much love, y'all.
One love.